Diabetes happens when the hormone insulin is not functioning well in the body. What happens is that when you eat food, most of the food is broken down into glucose. And then insulin is a chemical that takes the glucose out of the bloodstream into the cells of the body, where the cells of the body use the glucose to power their activities. What happens with diabetes is that first you get something called insulin resistance. So the insulin actually goes up, but the body doesn't use it very well. And then basically at the end of the day, you're in a situation where you're not making enough insulin. And so because the sugar can't go from the blood into the cells, the sugar stays in the blood and the sugar in the blood gets very high. Diabetes can have symptoms or it cannot have any symptoms. Sometimes the symptoms are things like thirst, because of course there's all this sugar in your blood. Thirst. Sometimes people with diabetes will lose weight very rapidly because the sugar is not getting into the cells, so the cells are like starving. Pass urine very often, especially at night. Waking up at night very, very often to pass urine. Those are some of the signs of diabetes. A lot of people with high blood pressure and people with diabetes don't know that they have it because they don't go and test. So they don't know, and some of them are silent, especially hypertension. It's called the silent killer because you can have zero symptoms and your blood pressure is in the sky. And then all of a sudden you get a stroke and you say, I wonder what happened. It was so sudden. It wasn't sudden. You have hypertension over all of this time, but silent, no symptoms. With diabetes, you would tend to have more symptoms, and so you would know. But then the complications are that you get heart attack and stroke from both diabetes and hypertension will give you a heart attack and stroke, and those are leading causes of death in Jamaica.
The risk of developing diabetes is high if someone in your family already has it, but it's even higher if you don't practice healthy eating.
If you are at home and you are mixing some lemonade, you would not put 8 teaspoons of sugar in a glass of lemonade. But when you buy a soda, you are drinking 8 teaspoons of sugar. And every soda that you drink, 1 soda a day increases your risk of diabetes by 18%, right? So you have the sugary drinks causing all these diseases. The other problem with the sugary drinks is that, remember, drinks don't satisfy hunger. So if you have a drink of 500 or 1,000 calories, you're still hungry because there's no food, no substance in your stomach. So it's wasted calories. You're drinking all of these calories, but it's not counting. They are dangerous calories because, as I said to you, they cause diabetes, right? And they are empty calories because most of the drinks is just sugar and water you're paying the money for. Nothing else in there except sugar, water, and coloring. When you drink coconut water, if you ever look to see all what is in coconut water, it's about 20 different nutrients that your body needs that's in coconut water. So drink coconut water or drink water instead.
How about a few shopping tips?
When we're buying food items, things that we should avoid are basically, firstly, you should ensure that you write a list before you go to the supermarket so that when you go to the supermarket, you don't take up things that are unwanted or unhealthy per se. So one of the things you should avoid when you're purchasing your products from the supermarket is to ensure that you choose foods that are high in fiber, that are low in sodium, that are low in sugar, and low in also fat. Some of the items also that you should not pick up from the supermarket is like trans fat. All right, so these may lead to non-communicable disease such as diabetes, hypertension, and renal failure, and some sort of cancers. So you want to choose foods that are low in these ingredients, the trans fatty acid, the saturated fat. Try to choose those that are low in sodium.